This is the BTC USDT chart. Let me move this over. And right now we're on the weekly. Let me just point at the monthly. Okay, so we always start top down, right? We go to the highest time frames and we look, we drill down to kind of get our accuracy dialed in. Now we can see that these levels here, this high, the open and close here, and this low, they've already been hit. You see, like it was struggling to close below that one. It literally hit this one exactly, came up, and then we would have kind of flipped the chart around to look and see where it was going up here, right? Now, it's still coming down, of course. So now on this time frame, the monthly, there's nothing of any significance whatsoever until this point right here. Let me make this one. We'll make it like blue. Okay. So we have that blue and then the red, and let's make one more. And we're going to make that one yellow. Okay. So we got blue, red, and yellow. So on the monthly time frame, these are the levels of importance. And oh, looky there. Look at where those levels are falling in. What I said was important before. 13,207, 13,782, 14,120. Okay, so now we go down to the weekly to get a little bit more information. We look where we're at now. We've hit the open and close of these. So the next one that it's more than likely going to hit is there. We'll make this white. Okay, so seeing as how these are such high time frames, like these are areas that you can definitely trade, and just because like a move only does this little candle right here, it's on a weekly or monthly, like look, that's 11% just right here. It's 11% move. So I would look for this white level to have at least a reasonable bounce. Um, and to go back to what you were saying earlier, like you getting chopped up, it's like, well, what leverage are you using? Where is your stop at? Because if you're using high leverage, then your stop's got to be super tight, and you're going to need to get your information from the weekly all the way down to the 1 minute, which when you're starting out trading, I just don't think that's advisable. I mean, I know it's not advisable. You need to, it'd be better to put, let's just say, it'd be better to put $100 on a trade on like 2x, so that would make your trade $200, than it would to equal that on 100x trades. You know what I'm saying? So like $2 at a 100x, because your margin for error is much smaller. You know what I mean? As far as your liquidation point goes. So you really got to get that high leverage crap out of your head, because it
That's fine.
that's what they are counting on. They're counting on people that are going to rely so much on it before their skill level adapts, right? And I myself have fallen victim to that in the beginning. Now, that's why I always encourage people to have supplementary income, and also have like an account built up to where you can sustain losses for a while and so on and so forth. But the most important part is when it becomes something that you have to do to like survive, the mental game is going to become so difficult, like so difficult. You're going to beat yourself up when you're wrong. You're going to beat yourself up when you miss a trade. All those things, right? Like the mental game is just going to get exponentially more difficult. So supplementary income is very important, and not leaning on trading for everything. It's not to say that it can't give you everything that you want. It can. I mean, it truly can. But if you're solely focused on that, from what I've seen more times than not, it's going to bite you in the butt. I think for you, you need to go with lower leverage, 5 or 10x, and you need to, get in and out. If you make $10 or $20, like, okay, cool, that's great, you made something. Then as you get better, then you can kind of wait for more. Take profits in increments and have stops a little wider. You know what I'm saying? But if you can't put $100 in your trading account and make money off of it, why would you think you could make money off of 500 or 1,000 or 10,000? There's no difference. There's literally no difference. Like the only difference is like you're making more or less money, but if you can't make money off of this, why would you think you could make money off of that? And that's a trap that I think a lot of people fall into, myself included, in the beginning. All right. So if we go back to just look at the monthly, and I was saying this was the, sell to buy range right here. It comes up, it's sold off, that creates that, and then it comes down, and then it's bought, and then it moons up. So this is the important area. And the white level is when we went in there a little bit further and we saw this. And we can see that sell to buy here, sell, buy, goes up. Like this one's already been hit. So this area, this one, and this one are the logical places for it to hit. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase those for now. Let me just make them vanish. And then we see this as an important high in the past, right? And then we see this as the important low in the past. That's 12,499, and this is 9,038. There's a strong likelihood that this thing comes down to this area, it'll have bounces in between there, of course, but I really think that this is kind of the area that it's really heading to. Whether or not it comes all the way down to the bottom, the top, or the EQ or whatever, that is too soon to tell. But I really do think that that's kind of ultimately where we're going. And we have that chance of, stopping it's always hard to see without using the XBT. We have the chance of stopping like here, you know. Let me erase this, and then let me pop this one on, and then go to this low. Okay. These are also likely areas. And again, like I told you the other day, you can't take these levels on like a daily, weekly, or monthly and trade them, especially on higher leverage, because just because this level, right, the EQ says like 88.73 or whatever it says. Can't really see it. Yeah, 88.73. That doesn't mean that I'm gonna go over here and set a trade at 88.73. That means that I'm gonna like look at this level. You know what I mean? Like if this was a 1 minute and I was deriving my information on that, okay, but it's not. It's a freaking weekly. So like what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna look in this area, you know, and I'm gonna go down in time frames, and I'm gonna see like what makes sense here, what has been tested, what hasn't been, you know. At this point in time, everything from here below is untested. Okay, so I already know that this is the first quarter and this is the EQ. The EQ is always the most important. So I'm going to look at this and I'm going to be like, what is really enticing in here that kind of lines up with these points? Well, if we look at this point here, if we look over here, we can kind of see like this leg, which is also, you know, this peak. So you got a peak and a valley, so to speak, you know. That one looks significant. And then I can keep doing this and I can go down. Oh, okay, this one actually looks decent, but this one's not real close to that 25% mark. So I got to take that with a grain of salt. But because it had a sizable move up right here without creating you know, like a valley, so it didn't go up and come down and then bounce here and then move up. It just blew up and then held something really high up in here and then moved up, you know. So you got to take that in consideration as well.
So them power moves, the big moves, they make them levels especially significant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like where they moon up, you know, or down, they do. Yeah, they make those more significant, because if you look at it like this move came up, it came down, and then it mooned up real fast. This is because big money got into this trade area right here. So it makes sense that they're going to want to get back in at the same area at some point in the future. And the thing about big money is they're not worried about trading the 15-minute or the 1 hour or the 4 hour chart. They don't give a shit about that. They want to trade the big money. They want to make a trade last for a couple months or even a year or two, and rake in a pile of money because they got a lot of capital, right? So you have to take that in consideration as well. Now, if we think about that, like this area right here, and this also lines up with our first quarter mark on that range right there. Let me reset. That makes this an even more enticing area to look for a long. But like I said, it's not that we're long in this level. You have to keep going down in time frames, and you have to keep painting this picture of all the time frames. And it's not easy, man. Like, it's not, you know, it it's, it takes so fucking long to really uh grasp it and to understand it and to teach it, some people will grasp it faster, but I think an important part is having someone to teach you that doesn't have like ulterior motives. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not like, oh, well, pay me $59.99 more and I'll teach you the next secret. So you can see right here, this thing was kind of like bouncing off of this area right here, right? It's just kind of bouncing. It's coming up and then it's coming down, but it's bounce and it's looking weaker, right? Bounce, 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 bounce. Up's coming up, but it's still weaker than this one, and now it's lower. So that was like your sign, like, oh yeah, it's about to dump, which is kind of where we're at right now, actually, on a smaller time frame. I'll show you in a second. But and that's where trends kind of come into play that will help you a little bit, but that's a whole different topic. Anyways, we're gonna go over soon, like the next time, one of the next time or two that we talk about flips and things, so you don't have to catch knives. So you'll be able to see a move come down, and then you'll let this big bounce happen. And like, oh, okay, well, yeah, maybe I missed that big bounce, right? But you'll be able to kind of come in here and be like, all right, what is it doing now? And then you'll be able to go through small time frames and be like, okay, well, it's bouncing. All right, I'm going to get in here, and like, bam, you get in this long here. And then you're like, all right, well, I'm going to exit and this, and you just keep doing that over and over and over again. So it's, and these look like small moves, but I promise you, they're probably pretty decent. Yeah, like that one's 7%. I'm measuring over here to the side. That low to that high is 5%. Like, these are nice trades. You know what I mean? 7%. That was that one. But then look at like this one. This one is up. So from this low to this high, 14%. So don't get discouraged, because I mean, this stuff is super, super obtainable. It really has a lot to do with your bankroll management and your mental game. Like that's why I told you to read that book and practice it, because it's so important, man. Everybody, literally everybody, every single person always underestimates it, and they don't follow through on reading the mental game books and really working the program, like, because it's not a book you can read and be like, oh, okay, I got it, like I figured it out. You got to work it. Like, it's got like homework to do. If you don't do that and you don't take that seriously, you will not succeed 100%. And like I said, man, I'm not here to fucking rain on your parade or anything like that, like, or be a Debbie Downer, but you know me, I always am trying to be realistic, and I want to guide you in the right way, and I have no doubt whatsoever that you can achieve this. None, not even a little bit.
That's great to hear.
You just have to master your patience and your bankroll management, and, adjust your expectations and wipe out all the BS, like it's only when we really focus on becoming better that we actually become better. If we focus on the end thing, like, oh, I want this after I'm successful, like there's like a lapse there, you know what I'm saying? And we kind of lose sight of the path, and we just are looking at the finish line. So it's like trying to, start a race and then just running across the middle of the field to the finish line without going around the track. And it's like, well, yeah, you didn't win anything, like just because you cross the finish line doesn't mean you won. That's kind of how I would put it. But I know for a fact that you can do it. You really gotta drill in on the mental game, man. I'm telling you, and the bankroll management. It's so freaking important. And also, we're in a terrible, terrible, terrible market right now. Like it's god awful, And the more, like, the better you get throughout this, like when the bull run comes back, which it will, I think we're gonna get cut off in a couple minutes, but I'm gonna at least get this to you. When the bull run comes back, you've learned through the hardest part of the market. You know what I'm saying? And when the bull run comes back, it's like, dude, if you have $100, like look up the graphs and the charts for the stimulus checks in America. It was like $1,200 stimulus checks. And if you would have put it in like Cardano and Ethereum and this Bitcoin and that, whatever, and it shows in like a period of months how much money you could have turned that into. And that was just by like putting it in and just waiting. And now imagine if you were to do that instead of just, like getting in the area, getting in right here and just going up until here. Like, yeah, you're higher here, but imagine coming up to here, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling, buying. How much more you could have made. It would have essentially been tantamount to doing this, you know what I mean? Instead of just this and then go down. So there's so much more percentage to make trading from that to, instead this.
So is it then like better to be a swing trader? Is that what you mean?
It's better to be all the traders.
Okay.
Uh, uh, I wouldn't advise scalp trading until you're really, really, really good. Scalp trading, meaning you're getting in and out of trades in minutes every time.
Like a day trade.
Well, no, that's not a day trade. A day trade is just an intraday trade. So a day trade may last 7.5 hours, Scalp trading is like typically, less than 1 hour.
Okay.
And then a day trade it can be that small of a time frame, but it's also like all the way up to that day, that 24-hour period. Swing trade is, and I break it down to short swings and long swings. So a short swing would be like 2 or 3 days. A long swing would be like, 3 to 6 days. And then you have what I say is short positions, long position trades, which 7 days to 5-6 months. And then anything beyond that 6-month period, that becomes like more of an investment. So what you want to look for is intraday trades, but mostly it's better to try to get into good swing trades, that ones that last a couple of days. And if you fail getting in them one or two or three times, like, it's okay, just keep trying to get in it. But then once you get in, that's where the MA part and the understanding of the charts is like, when do I get out? And that really comes down to taking profits, bankroll management, and the mental game aspects, which that took me the longest. And that's not to say that I have any of this figured out 100%. I don't, but I got a decent grasp on it. And, I, I know I can help you, I just want you to have your expectations just adjusted and not put all your eggs in one basket. I don't know if you guys have that saying there.
Yes.
Okay. And just have patience, you know what I'm saying? Because and study, man, like chart and be inquisitive, and don't listen to everything I say. Like, just look at the charts on your own. Like, all right, why did it do this? What do I think? That's what helps me the most, honest to God, is like looking at the charts like, all right, I'm going to forget everything I've ever learned, and I want to just see that's how I found my method,